What's really good with it? What's really good with it? What's up, guys? I wasn't going to do a video today, but I thought of a subject. And I had another subject in the hand. Brian's Man Cave did an awesome video the other day. And he was talking about the length of video games. So I'll try to touch on both subjects. Definitely go check out the community post I put up with Brian's Man Cave. And he has a really good video about short games and long games. So I'll go ahead and nip that in the butt first. Because I don't have a whole lot to say about it. He was saying, like, sometimes there was, like, this meme that basically people have, like, when you get older, you fall out of, like, wanting to play video games and stuff. And I definitely don't have that. I definitely still love them, and I love them just as much as I did back then, and it's still there. But I can understand how that can happen to somebody. But, like, do I prefer short or long games? I will tell you this. Sometimes it is nice, and I think that's why I go to retro more often, is it is nice to have some short games because we don't have a ton of time. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I can make time for big games like Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, I put in like 130 hours or 140 hours into that. I have to check on my Switch. I'm not sure. But I think it was like 140. And I put in that time. It's just I didn't put in any retro time. I only played Switch. That's it. Because I only have allotted so much time, right? But I prefer... I guess both has its time. But longer games will make me go somewhere else. Sometimes, like, I'll be like, I'll play it someday, you know? And so there's definitely times that I don't take on something because it's so long. I kind of prefer... The reason why I like retro games is because you got to notice the patterns, and you have to learn through trial and error, and I just like that. And I like the fact that you can beat a game in pretty much an hour. You know what I mean? Unless there's obviously ones that are longer. But I like that you can kind of take care of it. When you get good at the game, you know, you can beat it so quickly, but that first time might have took you fucking 5-6 hours or a whole stream, you know? Looking at something like Captain Algebra, he was playing Quackshot the other night. I think his stream was like, 3.5 hours or something like that? Almost 4 hours. But I bet you if he played Quackshot again, he could get through Quackshot probably an hour. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the time, but I'm just giving times right now. So let me know what you guys prefer. Because are you one of those people, and it's okay to be this type of person, are you one of those people that, well, I'm not going to buy this game for $60 and then I beat it in an hour, and that pissed me off. I like how new games are longer and I get my money's worth. Fair enough, you know? Because I could make the argument that shorter games can be more fun than them longer games, though. Because you play them over and over and over and over again. You have a lot of guys that do speed runs. You have no death runs. You have no damage runs. You have all this stuff. And why are you doing that? Because you want more of a challenge on that game you love, right? You know what I mean? That's why a no death run started for me. Because when I was little, I wanted a reason to play these games again, right? So I would play them without dying. And then some people even up the ante. I don't even want to take damage. Like, holy shit, you'll reset it if you take damage, you know? So that's pretty cool. So everybody has their way of playing games. I prefer shorter, like just retro. I prefer like the retro length of games. But I do love stuff like Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fucking amazing. Red Dead Redemption 2 is another big game. Awesome. Fucking awesome game, dude. But I have to, like, mentally be prepared for games like that. You know what I mean? And I also don't like to stream games like that because I think it's kind of boring. I like to be in the world and kind of be by myself when I'm playing those games and just fully be in it, you know? But me and T-Belly had a lot of fun talking about Tears of the Kingdom as we were playing through it. And I talked to Wes about it too. We had a lot of fun conversations, like with no spoilers. Like, hey man, so I'm working on this. What are you doing? You know, and he's, I'm over here, and I'm like, okay, you know. And we've tried to not have spoilers, and they have things I don't have, and and I have things they don't have, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you'll figure it out, man, you know. And it was really fun to talk about that kind of stuff with them. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. But anyway, yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought. Really good video by Brian's Man Cave, though, and definitely check him out. Real nice guy. But other than that, I wanted to make a video today about physical versus digital games. Like, what do you think about that? So obviously people are looking at my situation. They're like, oh, Dan obviously likes physical, right? Sure, I do. When it comes to retro games, as long as I can afford it and as long as I like to have the actual thing. Because remember, for me, physical is more about the experience. I want to play it the way I played it when I was a kid. I want to emulate that experience. I want to play on that CRT. I want to turn down the lights sometimes. I want to be in a game room that sort of looks like an old kid's bedroom or something. You know what I mean? And I want to create that environment. And I like going back to that place that was very precious to me. You know what I mean? So that's why I really like physical. And then there's the other reason why, input lag, and you can get into all the technical stuff. But mostly, it's just because I want to create that. That's really what it is. I'm in love with that time in gaming, those late 80s, early 90s time. I'm so in love with. I'm so in love with it, and I never want to let it go. You know, so I always want it to be there. So I try to create that and be able to sort of live there again, you know? So anyways, that's how I am. As for digital, I went and bought an Xbox Series S. And the reason being is I don't play a ton of new games. I like certain ones. I want to play those new Star Wars games. That Survivor, I really want to fucking check that out, dude. It looks really cool. And then there was the other one, like Fallen Order, I think the name of it was. The first one, you know what I mean? I want to play that, digital. And I don't care about owning them. That's not a big deal to me. I just want to play them, and that's it. Even if it was Red Dead and stuff, I could have it digital, and it's fine with me. I just want to experience it. I usually record it in some way. I didn't record Tears of the Kingdom, though. I thought about recording the ending of it, at least, to know that, hey, I did this, because going years and years and years, I always like to have, like, a journal. You know, that's what my YouTube is. It's just a journal of everything I played and everything I've done, right? That's what I like to have. But digital, I don't mind doing because it is kind of convenient, you know? And most of the time, a lot of people go, like, I know Wes from Gaming Off the Grid had the rant about, well, you can't trade it in. You can't let your buddy borrow it. Like, I gave him WWE 2K22, and when 24 comes out, I'm going to give him 23. I'm just going to keep giving him to those. Well, I won't have 24, but I'll give him 23. He can just have it. And he likes to experience it in that way, and that's cool. And yeah, digital, you won't be able to do that, right? And so I get that, but I guess I don't really think of it like that because, like, Tears of the Kingdom, I'm not going to play through it again. Red Dead, I'm not going to play through it again. Like, most of these games are one and done. You know, I experienced it, and I'm moving on. You know, I don't think I'll ever go back to it. I don't think I'll ever pop it in and go, oh, dude, I want to play through that again. I don't think so, you know. Highly doubtful. Excuse me. But digital, I do like it. It is convenient to have everything on there. And I like the fact that sometimes they're cheaper, which is what we've all been saying. They don't do it every time, though. But we've all been saying, if it's digital, it should be cheaper, guys. Come on now. You know, because you're not having to make cases. You're not having to have people make CDs. You're not having to copy them. All you're doing is putting it on a download available. That's all you're doing. So sell it for a little bit cheaper, you know, which isn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? But it's a plus. They should do that. But anyways, digital doesn't really bother me. For new games, I'll go ahead and go digital. Doesn't matter. You know, there's nothing that I really have to have physical. If I feel like something's really important, because there have been a couple, like Double Dragon 4. I know Limited Run was really cool. They did that one. There are a couple that I was like, you know, because I love Double Dragon so much, it would be awesome to have a fucking physical. It would be nice, you know, but that's just because I'm a big fan and I'd like to have the case. But really, to play the game, I played it enough. It's fine. I don't need to fucking have a physical. You know what I mean? But understand that the reason I do physical with retro is because I'm always trying to create that. And now I've become a little bit of a collector too. I do want to have some of the stuff just to have it. But dudes, I love the posters. I love Nintendo powers. And what it is I'm just in love with that time. And I love reading them. And I love going through them. And it's just, that's such a great time that is gone, you know? So if I can kind of bring it back in my own little way in my house, I like to do that. And it brings me back to a time. It's kind of like listening to an old song and you remember where you were at that time. Well, video games can do that to me too. Like, oh, I remember seeing this one on the shelf when I'd be renting a game, you know, and I never played it. Like Joe and Mac. Joe and Mac was one that I'd always see the cover for, but I never got it. I never rented it. And going into when I seen it CIB, when I got older, I went, oh, that's that game. I used to fucking see that all the time. Little did I know that was a fun little game I could have rented. And I didn't freaking do it. So you missed out on stuff when you were a kid, you know? You maybe didn't know what to pick, you know? But, so now you come back and you get to experience that and go, man, I wish I would have rented this back in the day. Me and my brother would have played the hell out of this, you know? Being Joe and Mac, you know? Same with Bad Dudes. I would never rent that. But I'd always see the cover and be like, it looks cool. I don't know. You know, and I never would do it. I'd never freaking do it. So I played it when I got older and heard, I'm bad. But yeah, anyway, I prefer physical with the old school stuff. But at the end of the day, yes, if you can't afford it or something, well then, yeah, you fucking emulate it. You get it digital. You do whatever you got to do. As long as you can play it. You know what I mean? Like Rondo of Blood. I didn't get that physical. I played that on emulation. So I didn't mind having it digital. It's fine. You know? It's the only way I could figure out a way to play it. Because you have to have, what, a turbo CD? Isn't that what you have to have? This shit's expensive, bro. And I didn't know if I wanted to buy a whole console for one game. You know what I mean? So I was like, eesh. So that's why I said, like, a lot of people said, like, I hate emulation. No, I don't. I played through emulation. First time I beat Dracula X was emulation. Until it got sent to me by EMS. Is that who sent me it, I believe? And I mean, you're the only reason I have it physical. Otherwise, I played it digital and I had beaten it. But then I went ahead and beat it on physical when I got it. But yeah, Rondo, I played emulation. Rondo of Blood. Rondo Blood. Awesome game, by the way. But we need a new Castlevania. Come on, Konami. We need a new fucking Castlevania. But anyways, guys, that's all I have to say. Let me know what you think. What do you prefer, physical, digital? Do you hate digital? How do you feel about that? And then how do you feel about, what else did I talk about? Oh, older or long or short games. How do you feel about that? You prefer them being long because you feel like you're getting ripped off? Which is okay. I'm not saying that in a negative way. Or do you like them short and sweet because you only have so much time? You know what I mean? Maybe you don't have time for those long games. That's okay too. That's okay too. Or you just like short ones because it's, you'd rather, not get that into the game. You'd rather not play a game for 100 hours. You'd rather a game be a few hours long. Like we did the Battle of Olympus playthrough all together. That was a lot of fun. And we all played that together, and that was like the perfect length type of game. It was great. I always said like the perfect length for a game. This would be something else you can go put in there. What is the perfect length for a video game? And I always think 7 or 8 hours. A lot of those PS2 era, where I'm playing through like The Suffering, Run Like Hell, stuff like that. I feel like 7 or 8 hours is where you're at, where you start to get kind of sick of it and you're ready for it to be done, and then it is done. Like The Thing, I played through that. A lot of those games were all around that time, and I thought that was like, that's the perfect spot, because sometimes you can be playing a game for a long time and then maybe you get kind of sick of it. You're like, man, I kind of wish this game would get done. I know there's been retro games I've said that, like, man, this is like 2 levels too long. You know what I mean? Like, why are we still going? We're doing the same thing every stage, and I mean, what I just Moonwalker was like kind of a stage or two too long. You're kind of like, all right, it's a cool game, I like it, but can we get done here? You know what I mean? Like, we're just doing the same thing. You know what I mean? I can only go, oh, so many times. You know what I mean? until I just kind of want to move on to something else. Anyways, Moonwalker, check it out. Game's getting up there in price though. But yeah, fun little game. Moonwalker is a decent game. I was very impressed. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm making it going.